this meeting to order. Alex Melissa is absent, he's excused. Jenny Bando is across the street. Rebecca Dolby is excused, and Tara Zeal will be joining us later. She's at another meeting. Let's stand for the pledge.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This meeting was submitted to the Green Bay Press Gazette on Monday, May 13th, 2014. The meeting notice was distributed on Monday, May 13th, 2014 for posting to the Bank of Luxembourg Home Office, Luxembourg Post Office, and Casco Post Office. Our district's mission statement: we inspire minds, challenge students, and promote excellence. We are Spartans. I need a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
That was Dave, right?
Yeah.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comments on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Prior to making a public comment, individuals must announce their name, address, and group affiliation. Each speaker's comments are limited to 3 minutes. All statements are to be directed to the presiding officer. No person may address or question board members individually. Speakers should not expect an immediate response or reaction to their comments. Are there any comments? Hearing none. Our next meeting dates, subject to change, are June 19th, 2024, July 17th, 2024. Both will be held in this multi-purpose room. Board administration opening comments.
So I had the opportunity to see my friend down there walk across the stage in Manitowoc. UWGB put on a little presentation for just the Rising Phoenix. I attended that, and our 7 students walked across the stage because they earned 60 college credits. Nice work. Was it really that hard?
I mean, it wasn't easy. But
Oh, okay. I was just checking. One of the speakers said from the other school said that. I figured I'd ask our own students how they felt. I didn't think it was easy.
It wasn't easy, but it was definitely worth it. And it was junior year still sucked either way, but so it was.
So the junior year was.
That was way worse. This year was not hard.
The only reason I'm actually inquiring is because I have this son that's coming through and he signed up, so I want to know what to really expect. So thank you for the advice and congrats to the rest of them. So it's awesome.
Anyone else? Hearing none. You do.
Sorry, I was still jotting notes. I just wanted to thank Mrs. Whitrock and Ms. Binns, who had invited me to participate in the reality store. So always a fun experience. Kids think that kids are expensive, which I find comical, and they openly told me they struggle with math. But it was a good time. And it was a large group this time, and they both shared with me that this semester they had more classes for their business, and their class size was increased. So it was like constantly a steady flow in here, which was nice. And then I also wanted to congratulate the dairy evaluation team from the FFA who had qualified for their state competition, which was exciting. And I wanted to thank admin and board for adjusting the board meeting tonight so that those who wanted to attend the band concert can do so. So thank you.
On the CISA 7, they have the reorganizational meeting coming up on the 22nd of this month. The district holds a seat, not an individual. Our district is not up for renewal this year. The ones that are would include Southern Door, Mishkat, Reedsville, Sevastopol. Chilton also may have an opening because the board member that they have did not run for re-election, and they have not indicated they're going to be sending someone. So there may be a lot of openings on the CISA Board of Control for the upcoming year. Also, all board members and administrations are invited at a I'll pass these out later on, but a complimentary tailgate themed buffet and dinner at the Green Bay Distillery, hosted by Dr. Colleen Tim. It's no cost to anyone that attends, so it's going to be based on boardmanship and administration get together and collaboration and how to have better board and administration teams. So it'll be a free dinner, 6 p.m. June 13th at the distillery.
I just wanted to mention the National Youth Apprenticeship Signing Day, which was May 9th, last Thursday, and we had 3 youth apprenticeship students that did their national signing day with Tweet Garricus, where they're going to be transitioning from the Y8 to the full apprenticeship. Max Ronsman, plumbing, Tanner Razor plumbing, and Caleb Delabrew with sheet metal fabrication.
Sure. So for sports this week, baseball and soccer will get to finish up their regular season in the next coming week. Softball and track, they'll get to start their regionals, which is a bigger deal than their regular season. And then golf actually had their conference tournament today at Brown Country Club or something like that. And their regionals is the 21st as well. Like you mentioned, Snowberry, we got to graduate on Saturday, which was a lot of fun, and it was really crazy watching all the people get their doctorates and their masters, and we were like also there watching them, which was a lot of fun. So we get to have that first, and then we get our high school graduation on Wednesday. End of year for seniors, on Friday we get to have a senior cookout in the back parking lot. So we'll just like cook up some burgers and some hot dogs for everybody, and people can stop in whenever during that. FFA also has one of their banquets coming up that they're planning for. Leo's Club officer inductions for next year were just completed this week. So they'll get some new officers for next year. Best Buddies today had their fishing outing down by Seminars Pond, which is where I was before this. It was super fun. Some of the fishing team kids came out there and helped out with that, and they really enjoyed it. And then right after, at 5:30 tonight, they have their awards. So their Best Buddies Awards, where they get dinner and get some awards. And then tonight there's band concert at 6:30, which is super exciting. And then the choir concert also was Monday, the choir spring concert, which I thought went pretty well. And then on Saturday, our musical was nominated for center stage down in Appleton. So on Saturday, all the musical kids will get to go down to Appleton and perform on the PAC stage and perform our like main number that we had. And then a few other students will get some honored awards and like outstanding lead awards, so that'll be really fun. Yeah, but that's it.
This is the second year in a row.
Yep, second year in a row, which last year was our first year going, and so now we got 2 years in a row, which was really cool.
Any talk of next year's musical?
Kind of. No, I won't.
You'll be an alumni then, Bowie.
I know. I'm glad we got to do this one. This one was a lot of fun.
It was fun to watch. Everyone did a great job. So enjoy the red carpet. That's always a cool experience.
Going back to sports quickly, I do want to give a shout out to Neil Searing. He did a great job with the conference track meet. I was there helping run it. I thought it went really seamless. The athletes were really respectful and kind, which was great to see. So I just want to give a shout out to him because that was a lot of work. If you went into the gym at any point, he had this massive whiteboard and it was just filled with scribbles of things. So a lot to plan for one person for sure.
It's feeling like the end of the school year. You know, the final track meet is tomorrow night in Invite at West Pier. The last golf is on Monday. And if you've ever, spent any time like you have and some of us have in a middle school in the last couple of weeks of school, it has that energy. Both the things that I would typically get involved with, as you could imagine, but also the really cool things that I get a chance to do too. So seeing some of the awards and seeing some of the things that we're going to be able to present to kids on the last day, it's pretty good. It gets to be that feeling good about who we're sending across the hall, so to speak. So.
Pete?
Do you want me to give my report right away? Okay. Really, like Todd said, it's starting to feel like the last couple of weeks of school. You can feel the anxiousness in the kids. And we usually, for the last few years, we've sent out reminders. Hey, just remember, behaviors kind of sometimes go on the uptick a little bit before a big break, right? Before Christmas break, because kids, that structure that they have all day long changes. So we're seeing a little bit of that, but I think our staff and the kids are doing fairly well and looking forward to the end too. Previously, since the last board meeting, we had our spring concert, the first and second grade, and I would say that this is up there and probably in the top 2 or 3 concerts that I've been a part of since I've been here. So it was really, really good, and parents had a lot of real nice things and positive things to say about it and really enjoyed it. And the gym was packed. And so were the parking lots and the streets. So it was well attended and kids did a great job. But like Todd said, it's starting to wind down. Next week's already the last week, and looking forward to our 4K graduating and having our fun field day on the last day of school. So, yeah.
If we're giving full reports, I'll loop back if you're okay with that.
Okay.
We had our concert today. If you were there, it was wild. I walked into Joanne's office. I had just gotten back from Fond du Lac and the first concert already started. And I told her I was extremely overwhelmed by our parking situation. If you were anywhere near, it was Quick Trip was people were parking in all the way down the street down to Forest Construction. It was the most insane situation I've ever seen. So when I came to you earlier this year and said the fall winter concert was the most well attended, I take it back. This definitely outdid that. The staff said that they've never seen more guests attend our concerts before. So we certainly have to go back to the drawing board, because if this is the new norm, which is fantastic, we need to come up with a better system to be able to house all of the people and make sure we do it in a safe way that is comfortable for everyone, because it was extremely humid in the gym with that many people. But it went great. The kids did a fantastic job. I was glad I was able to get back from Fond du Lac to be able to see both the 3rd and 4th and 5th and 6th perform. We have Careers on Wheels tomorrow, both Pete and I. We have 21 stations that the kids will be participating in, so we're looking forward to that. Otherwise, this isn't final, but we're pretty close to finishing spring assessments. And so far our data's looking great. Just to give you a quick update as where we're at. Our reading goal for this school year 23-24 was to reach 73% of students meeting a 1 year's growth or more. And we are currently at 74%. So we beat the goal for this year, assuming that the last few stragglers do well. And then in math, our goal was 80% and we're currently at 82%, making a 1 year's growth. So we're doing well. Just to give you a little bit of a statistical fact, I reached out to Kelsey Parks, who is our rep for iReady, and she said about nationally, only 50% of students achieve that 1 year's growth. So we're well above where others in the nation scored. So, yeah.
Okay. You're last.
Who, me?
Yeah.
I thought I went already.
Oh, you did too.
Well, again, end of the year stuff, we are still wrapping up AP assessments this week. And then next week, it'll be seniors exams on Mondays and Tuesdays, and graduation award ceremony on Wednesday, final exams on Thursday and Friday. So we don't have time for fun. We just have work.
Can you tell the excitement in the air?
Yeah. The staff are just ecstatic.
How about the principal?
I got a lot to do yet.
Mixed emotions.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, our next item is the consent agenda. Items under the consent agenda are considered routine and will be enacted under one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items prior to the time the board votes, unless a board member requests an item to be removed from the consent agenda for separate action. Do I have a motion to approve?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made by Bob. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been seconded by Brandy. All in favor?
I request, I request having the April 23rd regular board meeting minutes moved for correction.
Okay. You want to do that now or after, or?
Well, you can either do it as the first action item or the last action item, makes no difference to me.
We'll wait
You're the
till the
president,
end,
you
the
call
minutes
it.
stays. Okay, so, a motion's been made and seconded, and then they would like April 23rd board meeting taken out for later review. Otherwise, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, we did the administrative reports along with the board, so.
I just have
Oh, okay.
Just-
Oh, I'm sorry, we didn't listen to
I
you.
know, that's okay. Nobody does. Just an update on the sale of the property. Our legal counsel referred me to one of his colleagues that specializes in real estate law. He took a look at the proposal. He drafted a counter proposal that corrected the address and clarified the price, which was what we had agreed on. And so I got that and sent it back to the prospective buyers today. So if that's okay with them, then they're gonna sign it, then we sign it, and then basically we give it to the title company for title insurance, and then we wait for them to get financing. And then that's where we will be. So.
Good job. Discussion item, 23-24 budget status.
Okay, so this was added, to the packet that they got today. So the end of the year, we're looking at, these are all estimates, but they're getting pretty close as we're getting closer to the end of the budget. Registration fees increased by $14,500. Last year, we increased registration fees, parking fees, and athletic fees. They were increased last year, and this is the result. We received over $30,000 in gifts and donations. A lot of that is the work that Mike does, making connections with local businesses, and for some reason, they just like to give him donations. But that's great because that helps us maintain the quality of programs that we have. For grants, we had a dual enrollment grant, a nursing grant, and a bilingual grant that we had not counted on. So we had an additional around $11,000 of revenue from grants. Our mobile taxes were higher than budgeted. We got that $608,000. That was from the tip from the village of Luxembourg. We knew that that was coming. We didn't know exactly how much. We didn't know we were going to get it. We got it yet this year. We did not put that in a budget because we knew that we were going to be over budget this year. So we were going to use that to help backfill our deficit. The interest from our savings and checking account from Bank of Luxembourg is a little over $13,000. Our open enrollment is $235,000 plus a little bit more. So it's an increase in open enrollment but there's also an increase in open enrollment out more than budgeted for, so that's a different amount. Our payment in lieu of taxes from Wisconsin DNR was about $684 that we were not anticipating. Our claims came in less from Medicare by about $15,000, so that's money that we had anticipated that we did not get. Sales for fixed assets like equipment, suburban tables, buses, that was about $9,500. Workman comp refund was about $7,000, and then there was miscellaneous cash back rewards from our district credit cards that we had been looking at, and that's a little bit over $5,000. The one thing that's not included in additional revenue is our high-cost transportation aid, and then that doesn't get calculated or released till the end of the June, so we don't really know about that. So as you can see, we had a considerable sum of additional revenue than we had originally anticipated. And then expenses. We were actually, we budgeted additional for increased costs in utilities, but we also locked in low pricing for natural gas. I know that's something Rebecca works with a broker periodically throughout the year. When gas prices go low, we'll lock in a certain amount. It is a little bit of hedging, you know, depending on how cold we think the winter's going to be, the type of thing. But we saved about $25,000 over what was budgeted. For fuel, we decreased the amount of field trips allowed this year, and gas prices were not as high as they were last year, so we saved about $35,000. We really reined in overtime across the district, and that saved us about $15,000. We paid out more in our health reimbursement arrangements. We had a few months which we had really high claims, so we spent about $10,000 more than we had anticipated. Principal building budgets saved about $8,500, but that's because we were able to move some of the purchases to the mental health grant, so saved money in their budgets. Teachers for subs. So this is when we have a teacher period sub or substitute for another teacher. That was about $13,000 more than we had budgeted for. We had a lot of subbing. Substitute teachers, we are about $46,000 over budget for the amount of subs that we have, and that's we sub not paid out all of May and June yet, so those will both be going up. Teacher unpaid days, so we have teachers that run out of their personal time, their PTO, their sick time, and then they take unpaid days. So that was about $24,000. So that helps offset some of that substitute teacher, because when the teachers aren't here, we're paying for subs. We purchased less supplies. We attended a couple less conferences. So in the business and fiscal office, we saved about $15,000. Technology was over quite a bit. They underestimated the internet services and some other software purchases like PowerSchool, that is our student information system. And the increased cost we paid for we paid this year for 2 years of our firewall. So that also increased that price a bit. So we're working with technology to make sure that that doesn't happen again for the next year's budget. Tuition, so we budgeted a little higher than anticipated for cost of tuitions for kids attending UW Green Bay, Bellin, and WTC and Jedi. Our copier costs were down. Our liability insurance for our workman's comp is down. Sick leave payout, we didn't have as many people retire as we had anticipated, so we're not paying that money out. Special ed transfer is $121,000 more than what we had anticipated. And we had talked to you, Tara and I, a couple times in the closed session, that we had a specific very high cost case. That's the majority of this, because that ended up being about $80,000 that we had to pay for that one student for special ed services. And the rest is, again, speech and language services. We didn't get a speech path. We did an outside service. We couldn't find somebody. So it was, our special ed budget was more than what we had anticipated. Maintenance budgets, we use zero-based budgeting. So we really are like, what do you actually need versus here's a budget and you can spend, you know, up to that amount. So having that different philosophy, we saved about $15,000 in our maintenance budgets. Grounds, we saved about $15,000 because we didn't snowplow as much, because we only had really two, maybe three really big snowstorms. Bus garage, again, we're using zero-based budgeting and purchasing only what is needed, and we saved about $45,000. And then we had money budgeted for projects, but again, we were trying to save money knowing that we had a deficit. So our major repairs this year were the roof at Casco, the HVAC system software for the district, and the door repair at the primary school that was approved by the Buildings and Grounds Committee. And so we actually saved about $157,000. So our projected, so we originally projected about $500,000 shortfall for $543,000 for this year, and we're ending up with a surplus of $537,000. This was done very intentionally. We were trying to, tighten our belts, especially not knowing what's happening with the referendum. We know that our fund balance is below what our policy says it should be. And so our intent is to put this back into fund balance. We did have to short-term borrow for payroll in November. And so we want to get out of that situation of having to do that. And so the intent is to let this roll over into fund balance. Hopefully that should bring us up to, what we as a board in our policy have said we wanted to be at. So right now we're everything that we've been doing is paying off and it's working. So
Great job.
yes. Well, it's everybody because nobody likes cutting money, but everybody's been good about understanding why we need to and actually following through with it. So that's a good thing.
Good. Any other comments? Okay. First item, discuss and approve the 24-25 fuel bids.
So Garrow is 0.03 less for delivery and profit margin than Ellisville Cooperative. Last year, I think that we went with Ellisville anyway as a endeavor to keep things local. Going local this year would cost the district an additional $1,126. And that dollar figure is based on filling the 7,500 gallon diesel tank 5 times during the school year.
I'll make a motion to go with the recommendation. I'll second.
Okay, motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
No,
No?
I would have gone with Ellisville, considering all that they do for us. Keep it local. Whatever.
Open enrollment applications. That was an additional also.
So the recommendation is to approve the open enrollment applications with the exceptions of those that meet the exclusion determinations by the January that we made at the January 2024 meeting. So at that meeting we had approved caps on special education open enrollment, and this is the first year we did for regular ed. And so actually there were 3 students that had applied in grade levels for regular ed that we did not have space for that are getting denied as well. So again, at the January 24 meeting, the school board established caps for open enrollment. The 5 applicants with a Y indicating a disability needing special ed services, they've been reviewed by Tara and found to meet the exclusionary criteria. We had 54 open enrollments in with 58 open enrollments in with 53 open enrollment applications to be approved. Historically, only 62% of those that apply for open enrollment actually follow through and attend LC. We have 20 open enrollment seniors that are graduating out, 14 new open enrollment applications out. Not all open enrollment out applications actually leave LC. Currently, there are 69 students open enrolled out, and currently there's 287 students open enrolled. That should say in, it does say out, but it's in. So it gives a dollar amount that those students either take with them or bring into the district. The open enrollment transfer for 22-23 is $8,618 per regular ed student and $13,470 per special ed student. Next year, the open enrollment transfer amount is going to go up slightly for both regular ed and special ed.
Any questions? I need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made by Brandy, second.
I'll second.
Second by Dave, all in favor? Opposed? Motion carried. Bus driver contracts.
Yeah, besides teachers, by state statute, bus drivers are the only other employees, that get contracts. So we have to approve their contracts.
I'll make a motion to approve that.
Motion by Bob,
I'll
second by Jenny, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Extended contracts not to exceed the stated number of hours for Kurt Wolski, high school guidance, 100 hours. The motion?
Can we do them all together?
Sure.
You could.
William Seminar for machine maintenance, 100 hours, and Ross Wagner, machine maintenance, 100 hours. Stacy Jokey, Title I, 40 hours. Jamie Palyavicki, high school guidance, 100 hours. Kyle Thay's curriculum, 80 hours. So number 4, A through F.
I'll make a motion to approve.
Motion by Jenny, second,
I'll second.
and second by Brandy, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And it should be noted that last year they did not use all of their hours.
Yeah, especially the machine maintenance guys. I mean, they come in, they do their maintenance that they need to. They usually don't top out of their hours.
Okay, next item is the CISA 7 contract for the 24-25 school year.
So, do you want to speak on that?
Sure. Last year we had 24 contract or 23 service days. We moved down to 16 contract days. So we reduced it by 7 to, as you know, when we reduced the referendum ask, the curriculum budget was reduced, and so that is one of the areas that we're stepping back a little bit. So what we're trying to do is partner our coaches when CISA 7 comes in. Our coaches will be with them, so there's less seamless transitions and more supports in the classroom and helping give feedback. And so that is, and then the other 3 things are the literacy group, the math group, and then the coaching group, our support group. Nikki, Kyle, and Greg Balza attend those. They say they're worthwhile to attend those meetings. They pull a lot out, which then they give back to our staff during in-service or feedback.
We also contract for audiology services, so that's similar that we've always done for every year. And then our Learning for Independence is a program that we send some of our students who are transitioning into like adulthood, into our like transition program, and that went down this year. We have 1 instead of, I think we have 3 or 4 this year, so there's a little bit of a drop in price this year too, going into next year than we paid this year.
Questions? If not, I need a motion.
So moved.
Motion's been made, second.
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Primary school handbook.
So the handbooks, the principals worked together to try to create consistency amongst our handbooks, because there's some language, there's some policies, there's some procedures that occur from primary all the way to high school. And so it's just easier for parents to understand if we keep the language and the format the same as we go through. Now each level has their own intricacies, and some things that apply specifically to their level of students. But this is kind of like a major overhaul of all of our handbooks to be able to have consistency for parents, and to do some updates as well, just so it's easier, you know, as we go through the system.
I think our original intent was to get them to you this month, and not necessarily looking for approval, but get them in front of you so that you had some time to look at them and then maybe approval next month, but if you want to go through them now and do that, that's up to you. But I think that was kind of our original intent.
It was kind of interesting if you'd put one alongside the other.
Yeah.
That was easy to do. That's,
And
That
then
was the goal.
the previous
Good.
year was also.
yeah.
So you have a choice, you know, because they're up for approval, so if you had a chance to read through them all, we can go ahead and we can approve them tonight. If not, if you wanted to table them until next month, if you didn't have time to read through them, you can do that too.
I got about 3/4 of the way through, so if the rest don't have a problem moving forward, we can, otherwise we can wait till June. It doesn't matter.
I'm fine with them.
I would prefer to wait, actually.
You'd like to wait?
I got an email that said we were possibly gonna wait on it, so I
Right.
prioritize that lower.
Oh, this was my Saturday night work.
That sounds exciting, Linda.
Husband goes to the races, so I had plenty of me time all over the
That's
table.
when we got together too to work on.
Hey, that was good. You should have just called me and we could have done it together. Okay, so,
That's one thing, I thought I read in here, it was more in the middle school and the high school, and some of the transgender area policies, that they were gonna be allowed to go into a girl's sport. If a boy wants a transgender, you'd be able to go into a girl's sport. Is that what that policy was saying, or did I read it wrong?
Are you talking to the code?
I'm talking for, yeah.
yeah, that was, yeah,
So hang tight, let's do a
Yeah.
motion for
Okay,
the 4
sorry.
handbooks.
yeah.
We're gonna table them, we're gonna table them.
Okay,
Yeah, so do you want those tabled?
Yep,
Okay, so who made the
And Bob, I
motion
don't
to
think
table?
that was changed from last year.
I know, but I wanna look at that, cause.
Okay, so Robin, you're making that motion to hang on to them till next month?
Yes.
Okay, and then I need a second. Bob, are you the second?
I'll second, yeah.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded to hold off on item 6, 7, 8, and 9 until next month. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. My only comment is that I can't believe that you can get a 60 and still pass. I could have been on the A honor roll. Apparently, I wasn't.
They got these done like quicker this year, right?
Okay,
Last year we were fighting. to get them done.
intermediate school
That's why we
co-curricular.
pushed it up for you
Good job.
guys.
Okay,
I will just say for my co-curricular code, it's officially transitioned over. In the previous, I don't know, 10, 15 years, Jolene used a different format than Todd did. I've officially transitioned over to his version and then just modified it to meet the intermediate school needs.
And that's good because some of your kids do participate in middle
Correct.
school.
Yep.
Yeah.
I will make a motion on the intermediate co-curricular.
yes. I'll second that.
Okay, a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Middle school co-curricular.
Where is that? So I had it on my computer, so I gotta find it again, where? Yes,
Notice of non-discrimination.
yes. Is that, am I reading that right?
What's this?
The trans, if a child is transgendering, he can go into a girl's sport. Parental status.
Oh, number, the notice of non-discrimination policy. Okay, so the board is required to have non-discrimination policies, and our board policy is 2260. And so it just says that it's the policy of the LC school district that no person shall, on the basis of race, color, religion, national origin, ancestry, creed, pregnancy, marital status, parental status, sexual orientation, sex, including gender status, change of gender or gender identity, or physical, mental, emotional, or learning disability, the protected classes, be excluded from participation in, be denied the benefits of, or be subject to discrimination or harassment under any program or activity or employment. So it's saying that there can't be discrimination against
So
them.
you're saying that if a male transgenders to a female, he can, or he or she,
That's not what it says. It says you can't discriminate. It doesn't say how you're not
So-
going to
Right.
discriminate.
I just wanna make sure that that's on the policy, that
That
that's
is
gonna
not
happen
our
at the
policy.
school.
This is our standard non-discrimination statement. And the reason why it says, with sex including gender status, change of sex, gender identity, because under federal, in the U.S. Department of Education and the Office of Civil Rights have both expanded the definition of sex and sexual orientation to include gender status, change of gender, gender identity.
Okay.
So while the state of Wisconsin doesn't necessarily have a law, one way or another, because it's still playing out in the courts, the federal government has already stated that this is what they have. And what happens is if somebody comes in and claims discrimination, they can do it at a federal level. And so we're trying to avoid that. We want to treat all our kids, equitably as well. And so we practice non-discrimination.
That's part of Title IX.
It is part of Title IX. Now, Title IX just got reauthorized. The new guidelines that are more, they defined, again, sex and sexual orientation more specifically in this new iteration of Title IX, and it actually takes effect August 1st. So that's kind of like our summer homework, is to, and the lawyers are working on it now, as exactly what are the new rules and regulations and how is that going to impact our current policies, and and how we deal with complaints based on sexual harassment.
So this current policy is saying we can't keep them from playing basketball, but they're not allowed to play basketball on any team they want.
We're not saying anything. We're just saying we're not going to discriminate. Yes. So it's we're
As long
saying
as
that
we're
we're not
allowing
going
them to play basketball, period, or boys team or girls team, we're within this policy.
correct.
And if the election in November changes the presidency, there may be a change in Title IX again, so
Right.
you never know.
Okay, do I hear a motion?
I'll make a motion.
Second? I'll make the second. Motion's been made and seconded, all in favor? Aye. No? Motion carried. High school co-curricular code.
And then I'll make a motion to approve it as presented.
Okay,
I'll second that.
motion's been made by Dave, second by Brandy. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Coach's handbook. Bob?
I'll make that motion.
Motion's been made by Bob. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
And a second by Dave. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Purchase of a zero-turn lawnmower.
So this was, again, as we're working with different departments on their budget, buildings and grounds, because we didn't have as much snow removal, had additional money within the budget. So this is an opportunity to take care of some of the things that were on our long range plan. And so that was, with Jesse, he prioritized a zero-turn mower that is considered into our budget estimates for the end of the year. But, you know, again, it's just like, you know, he was able to save money, and so now he's spending it on something he needs.
Do I hear a motion?
Yeah, I'll make the motion.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second.
Motion's been made and seconded to purchase, to purchase the zero-turn work. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Okay, board policy, first reading. I'd like to make a motion to take items 15 through 32. And Dave, I have to tell you, as being on policy, my beginning to now, oh my God, this is so much easier. Remember the days when it used to be on the screen and we had to wait and he'd try to explain everything? No, this is all printed and it works great.
I do have questions on 6 of them though.
On 6
On
then?
6 of the item of the policies.
Okay,
So do we do a motion and a second before we discuss?
no, then we'll just go through each one? Is that
Well,
what you want? Or-
can we do them, as Jenny just said, can we make the motion, have a discussion and then these,
And then.
Oh,
vote?
sure,
I don't have a problem with it.
Okay.
Are you the motion?
I'll make the motion. Do I have a second then?
I'll second it.
Okay. So a motion's been made and seconded, all in favor? Aye.
Wait,
We got
no,
discussion,
now we're
we
gonna
got discussion.
discuss.
Okay,
Now we're
or
gonna discuss.
otherwise we can just,
What number are you doing?
Okay, the first one is the very first one, the 2340, and the only thing on there that I really marked as a concern is on the original one, on the first page, about 2/3 of the way down, it was the board or district administrators shall approve the field trips and other district-sponsored trips which are planned to keep students out of the district overnight or no longer, or longer out of the district, and that's been stricken, and I just hate to see board authority basically being given away, and so that's a concern that I have. I don't see why it wouldn't still end up coming to the board as in the past where they did.
No, they don't. That's what we discussed too. It's like the wrestling teams and stuff when they do overnights basketball, that never comes to the board.
But the foreign travel.
The foreign travel
Foreign
doesn't, that
travel
always
does,
will.
yeah.
Oh, the first time it will,
The first time it was.
and then it's
Yes.
done.
Yeah,
Once
okay,
we approve it, then it's
Yeah.
done, yeah.
okay, but it didn't indicate, in here, at least when I read it, didn't indicate anything about the foreign travel.
Yeah.
That was my concern.
Yeah, that,
Because you were talking about the St. Louis trip and the Washington DC
Yeah.
trip, where you don't approve that every year.
Yeah,
You
no,
know,
there
where you
was-
approve it the first time and then
Yeah.
it just,
Right.
yeah.
okay.
I was
I
just
think the
concerned
foreign
on the
travel
foreign travel.
warrant.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that too, to make sure that was like that,
Okay.
so.
It was a
Thanks,
good
Bob.
experience, here's where we're looking at next time.
So that's fine on
Okay.
that one. Next
Okay.
one would have been the very next one, the academic honesty, the 5505. The question that's probably for Heather more than anyone else, because I'm wondering why this is, I'm sorry, not, sorry, Todd. Why wouldn't the middle school, not,
She's ready for your
why
next
wouldn't the
one.
middle school, because now they're taking some courses that would be high school eligible, and we had a discussion about that, but the academic honesty doesn't apply to middle school students.
Well, first, I'd have to look at the language that you're talking about. I would say that we do have some cheating or academic honesty or dishonesty language in the handbook.
Yeah, well, but on this one,
Which-
this particular policy,
which-
the
when
very
I-
last page goes, repeated violations of this policy at the high school will result in additional discipline. I'd like to see add and middle school to that policy.
I think that it's the difference in the maturity of the student. So repeated violations of this policy at the high school is what it says,
Yeah.
will result in additional disciplinary consequences up to and including suspension, expulsion. It's not excluding that if we have a middle schooler that is rampantly cheating and selling answers or, you know, whatever, it's not saying that that could not possibly be a consequence at the middle school. It's just saying that, you know, at the high school, when we do have a repeated offense, it will result in additional disciplinary
What Dave is
consequences.
referencing is our kids who come up for geometry. There's a very select group of students,
Right.
but how we have treated middle schoolers that go for high school classes, they are under the same high school policy. If that,
So.
Yeah, so they.
because they're
very
technically
much the
taking
same
high school
syllabus.
class
Yeah,
in
that-
the high school.
And that was why I'm looking at this and
Yeah.
thinking, why wouldn't as a middle school student? Because nothing says that we have to go ahead and expel them or do a suspension, but that they would be eligible.
Because we consider them a high school student, because they're
Yeah.
earning
High school
high school
levels.
credit.
Yeah.
So they actually
Yeah.
fall underneath the high school
Right.
if there was a problem with a student in that class, probably Troy, for academic honesty, would be dealing it before Todd would be dealing with it. Because it's a high school course. So we treat,
Yeah.
and they get credit for that too.
Yeah.
The students
And
are.
that was why
everything
that
that's
was why.
No,
I
but that is a
concerned.
good catch though.
Okay.
Or the syllabus
Correct.
policies.
Just like when our kids go to GB, their syllabus trumps whatever our syllabus is here, and we have to follow their rules.
Okay,
Right.
that's fine.
John, you had mentioned that this says if it happens in high school, the punishment will be this. But it doesn't say that it can't be in middle school. If that happened in middle school and a student was expelled, if it's not in this, if it's not written here, is there gonna be repercussions from parents and lawyers?
No, because it says repeated violations will, it says it will result in additional disciplinary consequences up to. So the additional disciplinary consequences could be anything. It could be removal from the class with loss of credit.
Mhm.
It could be in-school suspension, out-school suspension, something else that had maybe a restorative bend to it with the student. It doesn't mean that it has to be expulsion or,
Right, I understand that.
suspension.
Does the middle school, at the middle school level, does it say anything about expulsion or cheating?
In the handbook, yes.
There's language in the handbook regarding it.
Which we postponed till the next meeting, right?
Right.
Correct.
We can discuss it then, it's fine.
Yeah.
So the repeated thing has to be numerous times.
Yeah.
Over,
Yeah.
and we have never
We're
expelled.
talking serious problems.
Yeah, we've never expelled anyone for that
For
reason,
Right.
and we don't like to expel kids unless,
Yeah.
so. We actually, what we do to answer that question, we take all their devices away from them and don't allow them to use them because they cheat too much. Paper and pencil.
Hardcore.
Oh, yeah.
Number
That'll hurt 'em.
18.
I can't.
Number 18, 6610 non-district supported student activity accounts. The only question I have on that is the very, very end of it. It's lined out after one full school year of inactivity, unexpended funds for a discontinued district supported student activity shall be transferred to the district's general fund 10. Well, question, what happens to the money? Because it's not going to fund 10. And I'm just wondering, what's gonna happen with this money? It's not district funds, which makes sense that it doesn't go to Fund 10, but what's gonna happen to it? You know,
So-
throw a party for the administration and the board?
Well, we could. No, okay, so that's why we struck it out, is because we don't do that practice. We don't put it in Fund 10 after year, because like,
Can't, right?
my understanding is that, like we have like a ski club, or it wasn't ski club, it was some other club that there was a lot of money and it was sitting dormant for a very long time. And that's what we're doing, is we're just letting it sit there dormant until, either the club comes and says that we are officially disbanding, or we're not gonna do this, we're gonna remove it from our roles. Then, we would have to figure out what we're gonna do with it. We'd have to look at the Gatsby rules about where we could put the money. But that's why we struck it out, is because we know we don't do that.
Yeah, we couldn't go into 10, but it doesn't say where it goes, and so that's all fine, thank you.
Yeah, right now
Appreciate
we let it sit, because there has been times when we've had activities that have laid dormant for, 2 or 3 or 4 years, and then all of a sudden says, hey, we should have an XXX club, and XYZ sorry, XYZ club, and then it's just like, oh, we do have one on the books, and it has, sorry. And we do have one on the books. We do have that one on the books, and by the way, there's $500 in that account to get you started. And so we've just, out of habit, not done anything with it
I think.
at all.
Number 22, which is policy 2413, health education. The second segment has an area that's lined out. District shall notify parents in advance of the instruction and about the content of the instruction and give the parents an opportunity to review materials to be used, and then it continues beyond that. The concern I have in the revision, in the green, there's no way that the parents are necessarily going to know, and I would like to see if they can be, that last part, where the parents would have an opportunity to review the material to be used, to incorporate that into the section that continues on below. After the fact, they're not gonna get to know what's available and what's going to be taught.
I thought there was a line that says,
Yeah, which line are you,
you're talking about the second paragraph?
Yeah,
Yeah.
second paragraph?
Second paragraph, second line.
it says the board recognizes that this program, like others,
Yeah, so I don't see this part of it, does it address it in green?
I didn't see in reading it that the parents had an opportunity to review it before they would opt out or not opt out.
No, parents can review health education curriculum at any time.
Well, where did it say that?
It's more of a practice.
Yeah, but it's nice more than a practice, but the previous policy specifically states that they will. And I would like to add that to the section below that's in green. Just create another sentence. The parents will have an opportunity to review the materials to be used.
Okay, look at the last section of green on that page.
The district administrators.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Maybe that satisfies it.
That's what I took it
When
as.
will the notification go out? Like here it just specifies in advance of the instruction, here it just says, shall notify parents.
Planned instruction. Planned instruction.
So here's the
Yeah.
question, is this for high school or middle school, just to clarify? I apologize, I don't have the policy.
It's health education.
Yeah,
It's
health
district-wide.
Does Justin still send home a letter to parents when they were doing health education to have them sign off on that?
I know that he communicates, especially when it gets to the human growth and development.
So,
I know that we've had a couple of we've had a student opt out of health, we've had a couple of students who opt out of that.
just that's, so prior to any controversial, because that's the most controversial, human growth and development, that's what I thought. We send home a parent letter that they opt in or out or want to review the materials, they can come in, so that's how we communicate that. I apologize that I didn't catch that earlier to share that.
And I think that has to be signed either way, doesn't it?
Yes.
Oh, okay. As long as the.
So that's our
communication
that's our
clear.
practice with the policy as far as what we do. I just had to go back about 9 years in my brain and remember that, so. A lot of
So,
confidence, Bob.
John, you believe that that will go ahead and says that the parents will be notified in advance of what the material is, they have an opportunity to review.
Yes, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. If that's gonna happen, then I'm fine with it.
Is there a reason that that line was struck out? Is there a?
I think of what Linda said exactly is that last section in green.
It's kind of
Yeah, it kind of reiterates that.
Suspension and expulsion, which is the next one, 5610.
Okay, before you ask the question, we changed all of the guardians to legal guardians.
Yes,
Yes.
yeah, I see that.
Oh, it's not in all of them though,
Oh, well, it's,
but we did.
okay, I thought it was on all the ones that I saw.
Yeah, there was one.
Like right here.
Yeah,
There was one.
Oops.
Where is it? guardian.
Yeah.
We changed
Yeah.
to legal
Yeah,
guardian.
well, it says
Yeah.
legal guardian, that's changed there.
Yeah, no,
No,
I mean,
no,
yeah.
there's,
The pro-
yeah,
the-
there's
the
one,
thing-
there's
The
one
the
part
one
that
that, the one that
maybe
was
I
sent to
missed
the
one
full
of them.
board has all,
Yeah.
has the changes that we talked
The,
about.
the only,
Oh, okay.
the only
Oh, they
thing
have
that I
all the
have
corrections right.
on it
Oh.
is when it was grammatically in two places. One is down over here, parents, suspended student or the student's parent, legal guardian. On the others, it says or legal guardian, and you can't be both a parent and legal, it should put the word or back in there. It was,
Yeah.
here, it used to
That's
say.
where it was, where it
used
just
to
said
say
parent or
student's parent
guardian.
or guardian, and was changed to legal guardian, but the word
Oh,
or
see,
was
mine-
taken out.
See, mine it says
Oh.
or legal guardian, or
Oh.
legal
Yeah.
guardian,
Ah,
yeah,
okay,
so it's just a,
Okay, so are you talking 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth paragraph?
yeah. From the bottom, you're,
I forgot because I had to say, yeah, because on this one it says legal
Third
guardian
line
on
in that
page 2.
paragraph.
There,
But on the
okay.
first page-
his doesn't have the or in there. Ours does.
Are you on the,
Yeah.
well, you sure you're on this side or this side?
I'm on this side, where's it showing right
Yeah,
here?
that's the back side, go to the front side, go to, this one, there. Does it say or?
Okay,
Or
I just
guardian.
changed it.
Or legal guardian.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah, she
And-
just changed it.
Yes.
Yeah,
She found it.
and that one, and there was one other place also that said the same thing, under expulsion, I believe it's not the last count of 3 sentences from the very bottom under expulsion. It misses or leave, it doesn't say anything about a guardian there.
Oh, it says,
Or student's parent may request a conference that should say student's parent or legal guardian.
oh, see, ours does.
Okay, yep, and it's,
Under the
it's
expulsion?
changed, it's changed on the, yeah.
Oh, okay, well, I didn't get it on that one. Okay.
Nope.
Well, you know,
That's changed.
that was what you were doing. Had a granddaughter playing ball down in the Dells this weekend. Evenings, and then the last one that I have is a question on technology, which is 7540.
Yeah.
And on the very back end, it says, if a piece of equipment requires repair, it will be sent to the help desk. I'm going, what help desk? Where? How? Why? I mean, I just don't know of any help
On the
desk that we have.
backside?
I think we left that like that because,
We had help, well, we took out some things that said that where some data would be stored, because it said to have it like in the Google Cloud, but, you know,
Yeah,
that might change year to year, so we did not specify where it was gonna be stored. Piece of equipment requires repair, you know, kids take it to the help desk. Kids know where the help desk is.
Oh, okay, I
They know
couldn't
how to
find
operate the
anything in the
help desk.
district website about help
They know how to
desk
get help.
anywhere.
And it's, you know, it's, so, you know, they put in a help desk ticket, and then the help desk helps them.
Oh, I just figured I couldn't find it on district, anything.
Yes, but that,
I just, you know, I
internally,
got
we
nothing else to
have,
do on the
we have a help
night
desk.
at a hotel. So sorry. Linda, you understand?
yes.
fun, Dave.
Well, you know, I love,
Is that it?
that was it. I just had
Okay.
those 6 that I had questions for the most part on.
See, and some of those were probably the same questions that we asked. Let me get organized. Hang on a second.
They made it a second, we gotta,
Yes,
yeah.
so a motion's been made and seconded. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried.
We have to go, I don't know if that's the last one. We have to
That
just.
was the last
Information
action.
items.
Well, so last action item would be
Go back to-
Back to the
back to the minutes.
minutes.
Yeah, 15 to 32. So we are number 10. Information items, project response.
We need to do minutes, the minutes we got.
Oh, that's
We just
right.
got a question on
Sorry
that.
there, Bob.
Or correction.
Or, yeah, sorry,
Yeah.
Bob. Sorry, Dave.
Let's move to the last action item. Yeah, under the March 20th minutes, it reads, the last sentence, minutes will be presented again for approval at the May board meeting. That did not come on up, and if you view the meeting as it was, The consent item started at minute 16.01 second. The particular thing about the May minutes was at 16 minutes 34 seconds to 18 minutes 24 seconds. There was nothing said in there about moving the March minutes to the May meeting. And so
Which
that needs to be
paragraph
corrected
are you on, Dave?
on your minutes here.
Under March
March
20?
20 minutes, yes. The last sentence, there was nothing at all said at that meeting about it, and if any of you want, you can go listen to the minutes yourself.
Okay. So then I guess I just have a question kind of, because, so if there are corrections to the minutes, do they not get represented? Do we just list that like in the consent agenda, like, so today's motion was to approve the consent agenda by X and seconded by Y, to include the following corrections? Is that like a proper way to document that?
You could do that.
Okay, gotcha. I guess I was probably a little confused because we had pulled the April 3rd and moved them to the next board meeting, and those were gonna be represented, so I probably was just thinking along that same line.
Okay, so I need a motion to approve the April minutes.
I'll make the
as
motion.
corrected.
Thank you.
Motion by Bob,
I'll second.
second by Dave, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Now, project respect.
So we were selected by the University of Madison, who wrote a grant through WIDA, which is for EL students. And last year they had 3 schools, this year they have 3 schools to receive free professional development from them. Our staff members receive a stipend for participating in the program. And so they actually follow up with research with each of our staff members and how it impacted our learning and our data for our EL students. This is more specific for our levels 3 and 4 students. So 1s and 2s typically work with the EL teachers because they have that language barrier, but most of us that went through school did not have any instruction on how do you work with EL students and the language barriers that exist. So we took advantage of that opportunity. They came and presented. I believe we have 29 staff members that have signed up for that.
Oh.
So, and I have one more email to send out, one last push to the principals and the EL teachers to ask if there's anybody else that they want to personally invite to help. And so it's $500 that they get for about 24 hours of work. There are some after school meetings as well, which some of that will be compensated out of our EL grant that we have, to make sure we make them whole for the amount of time that they spend working on that. But I think it's a good opportunity for staff members to professionally grow and earn some compensation.
So here we're talking about professional development. This is the type of thing is that we know that this is something that we could, do a little bit better on. And then, we have 29 staff members that are willing to go through this training, to increase their teaching skills, especially with our English language learners. I said that says a lot about our teaching staff, that they want to get better and they're willing to put the time and effort and work on this project to get better.
Mm-hmm. So out of all the schools, the prior 3 schools, she said that currently we have the most staff members that will have participated from the prior year. So I don't know who the schools are, what it is, because they don't tell me any of that information. So
well, with a big cohort like that, it's nice because then we have internal supports too. So it's not just one person doing a training or 2 people or just the EL teachers with 29 people. That's a nice cohort that, our professionals can support each other in their practice.
Hopefully it's at all levels, but 29 being a mix.
Yeah, I do. I have people from the primary, intermediate, middle school, and high school.
Good.
So, But once again, there'll be a few personal invites like always, just if they have, and I don't know who they would be, I just reach out to the EL teachers. Is there anybody that consistently has a number of EL students in their class that would benefit from this?
Well, that's Alex's.
I would totally have to go through the whole Spanish class first. They didn't have Spanish when I was in high school.
Linda, you're pushing me over my 2 minutes and 30 seconds there.
Well, I know, I knew that you wanna make a little comment about it, so I thought, hey, but there isn't a 3-minute limit on this, see?
No, I told Todd that today we had a bet and I'm losing.
Oh, okay. Academic
Thank
and
you.
career planning.
So we put in to be a mentor school. So the state received a grant from the federal government and to mentor in academic and career planning. And we said that we would be interested in mentoring other schools. Then they said, you'll have one school. They said, well, we don't have enough mentor schools. So I said, if you need someone, we will be a mentor school for 2. So we are mentoring Ashland, which was probably not the first school that we were selected with, and then the Menominee Indians. And so they're only 50 minutes away, and the other one's like 4 hours away. I don't know how it's all gonna work out. I just found that out last week, and they give us a grant money to extend contracts. What it means is, so I'll just use as an example, one of the tech ed teachers comes to a summer convention in the Dells. There's a date already planned. I can use our grant money that we receive to reimburse them, so the district does not cost the district anything. They reimburse travel if we go over there. They reimburse a lot of those things. So we have to set up a plan with them and how we can support them and go through that. So.
Nice area during the summer in Ashland,
So you're saying if we have to do a fall visit, do it early before the snow flies?
Yes.
In September.
Because by the time that Thanksgiving rolls around, there's usually some snow up there.
So I think we have $10,000 in our grant this year to be able to provide stipends and hotels if we have to go anywhere or do any of that stuff, so.
Great. Keep the money rolling.
I'm working on that.
Okay. I need a motion to adjourn to closed session.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Jenny, second by
I'll second.
by Brandy. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Thank you. Enjoy your last few days.
You don't wanna help out?
Any of your administrators interested in the CISA 7 on June
10th, you said.
13th.
June 13th?
13th, is it a Sunday?
No, it's not.
I must have
But I
picked the
think
10th.
it's a Saturday.
Oh, I might be gone that. Actually, I think it's a
It
Sunday.
isn't past. It's a free
Hard
grant
pass.
distillery. Leroy Butler.
Just show up for
will
the
be
deal,
there.
Dave.
Yeah, I wonder how much they're
13th
paying
is a
Leroy.
Thursday.
Yes.